Greetings everyone, wrapping up the Blu-ray updates today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Alright, so we've only got 2 Blu-rays left here, but they're, fairly significant. First off, I'll show you one that Annetta picked up, actually. She got the new movie, Sherlock Holmes, with, what's-his-face, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. We've not actually watched this yet. I was actually going to give this a pass, just because I saw the trailers, and I thought, I call me old-fashioned. I like my Sherlock Holmes more Sherlock Holmesy, like the classic stories. And for me, the definitive interpretations of Sherlock Holmes have been, Basil Rathbone, of course, probably played Sherlock Holmes more than any other actor in history. Did radio plays, TV shows, and a whole buttload of movies. And for, I think, a few generations was considered the definitive Sherlock Holmes. That is until the early to mid-80s, when Granada Television did a new television series adaptation, adapting all of the original stories and novels pretty much verbatim, and cast Jeremy Brett in the role. And Jeremy Brett is considered by many to be the be-all, end-all definitive Sherlock Holmes. There was actually recently a beautiful DVD set put out of that, where they went back to the original 16mm film and retransferred everything from scratch and cleaned it all up, and beautiful. So, yeah, I do not have that, but I would definitely like to get it. So anyway, now I've heard that even if you're a fan of the old classic Sherlock Holmes, that this is actually a pretty fun movie and surprisingly good. So, as I say, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really say. Now, a little bit about this edition. It is an iron pack. So it's kind of like a steelbook, but not quite. I believe it was a Future Shop exclusive. Annetta picked it up. It's open here. There we go. Yeah. So you may notice the spine moves a little differently than a steelbook, and it looks a little different than a steelbook. See, it's actually on the inside rather than right in the middle. And there we go. What do we got here? Oh, okay, we got the notice. Make sure your firmware is up to date. How to unlock your digital copy. So what we got here is the Blu-ray of the movie, and then this is interesting. This is actually a DVD with the digital copy and the movie on DVD. So it's actually a dual edition. It's got the DVD and the Blu-ray edition. So hey, if you haven't upgraded to Blu-ray yet, but you want to get this snazzy edition, head on over to Future Shop. Well, if you're in Canada, and get that, or hit someone up in Canada. Not me, I'm far too busy. Who'd be willing to grab it for you. All right. So there you go, Sherlock Holmes. There used to be a piece of paper on the back that tells you what all the extras are, but Annetta always chucks those, so I have no idea what the extras are. But I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff, because it's a new movie, and they tend to load up the new ones. Alright, and last, but most certainly not least, yet another in the long string of movies that didn't need a remake, but the good thing about it getting a remake is that we get a beautiful Blu-ray edition of the original. I am, of course, talking about the universally, critically panned remake from the fondly remembered original Clash of the Titans. I don't know if I worded that right, but you know what I mean. Everybody loves the original. I mean, this is not a high art movie by any stretch, but it's a lot of fun. And it's the final movie that Ray Harryhausen, legendary pioneer of stop-motion animation, did. And also his longtime collaborator, Charles Schneer, who was the producer that he worked with quite a bit. This is both of their final film. This is a very nice digibook of the original. It's actually quite thick. So if we open this up here, you can see there's lots of beautiful pictures inside. And actually, just before we get into the book here, it actually comes with, again, the upgrade your firmware thing, and actually a booklet about the remake. So, here you go, nice little booklet about the remake. It has a bunch of artwork, some behind-the-scenes stuff. They talk about, I don't know, just stuff. There we go. Okay. And actually, at the beginning of the disc, before you even get to the main menu, there's a 5.5 minute featurette about the making of the remake. One thing that irritates me about this edition, and it's a nitpicky thing, I know, but what can I say? New logo, new version of the old logo. Now, if we go into the book here, the book actually reproduces the poster. That's what the logo originally looked like, and that's the original poster, and that's a pre-LA Law Harry Hamlin as Perseus. Yeah. Now, see, look at that mop. Look at that mop there. Look at that nice shaggy mop of hair. Now, if you've ever looked at statues of the Romans and the Greeks from back in ancient times, they all had hair like that. People say, like, oh, well, Harry Hamlin's big mop. It's like, yeah, but that's what their hair was like. That's, if you go by the statues, if you go by the artwork, they all had mops. So why is, what's-his-face, Jake Sully from Avatar in the new one, got like a freaking crew cut? It's like they just pulled him off the Avatar set when he was between takes and made Clash of the Titans. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so here you go. You got the beautiful Digibook. It's very nice. Lots of artwork in here. As with most of these Digibooks, there isn't really a lot of in-depth information here, but the main thing is just to have it for the artwork and the prettiness of it. You know. There's Ray Harryhausen himself working on the Kraken. Release the Kraken! And there you go. So anyway, this is a very nice edition. The transfer is pretty decent. It's basically about as good as this is probably ever going to look. There was a lot of compositing effects and whatnot, and this was actually a fairly low-budget film for its day, even though it got, like, you know, a fair amount of attention when it came out. I remember getting Happy Meals and stuff with Clash of the Titans themes to them. I would have been 9. This came out in 81. Do the math. But so and of course it was the early 80s, so you know, one of the trademarks of the early 80s is they used a lot of cheap film stock. Film stock of the early 80s tended to be kind of cheap and very grainy. Now, you know, I don't mind film grain. In fact, I love it. I just think it gives a great texture to movies shot on film that you don't get with movies shot in HD. That's not to say that film isn't HD quality. I just want to clarify that. Film is exponentially higher resolution than HD. I'm just talking about the look of like HD video versus the look of film. But so the problem with Clash of the Titans is it was done on cheap film stock, and there was a lot of multiple passes and generation loss due to the heavy compositing done. So as a result, it's not a terribly pretty picture a lot of the time, but what you're seeing on the Blu-ray, I think is safe to say it's pretty accurate to the source. It's basically, it's as good as it's ever going to look, and as good as it can look given the limitations of the source material. And that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, not every movie is going to look perfect on Blu-ray, but if it's accurate to the source and is as good as it can look based on however it was made, then hey, that's fine. That's fine. And Clash of the Titans is perfectly satisfying, and you will not be disappointed. I mean, it still looks, I mean, it looks way better than the DVD, obviously. You know, in terms of it being an accurate high-def version, this is as good as it's ever going to look. You know, pretty much. I mean, this is not a top-tier title either, so, I mean, it's not going to get the royal treatment of something like The Godfather or whatever. I mean, the only reason we got a Blu-ray of this as early as we did is because of the remake. And I don't even know why they remade it. I mean, it didn't need to be remade. I don't know. I should mention Clash of the Titans in terms of the extras. There's, the only extras that are on here are the exact same extras that have been on the DVD edition that's been available for years. So there's an interview with Ray Harryhausen, and then there's further, like mini interviews with Ray Harryhausen about the creation of each of the creatures in it. So that's it. Okay, now get this. Harry Hamlin reprised his role as the voice of Perseus in God of War 2, the PS2 game, well, and now PS3 as well. The video game. There's a part in it where Kratos meets up with Perseus, and it's Harry Hamlin doing the voice. Harry Hamlin, Perseus himself from Clash of the Titans. It's because he was in this that he was in that. Now, in the making of God of War 2, they interview Harry Hamlin about reprising his role as Perseus. But can Warner Brothers do a new interview with him about the fucking movie that was the whole reason he got into God of War in the first place? No, of course not. I mean, it's not like anybody would care what anybody who was actually in the movie would want to say. No, let's just recycle this 10-year-old documentary or a 10-year-old interview with Ray Harryhausen. I mean, it's great to have the archival material there, obviously. I mean, obviously I want that. But, come on! Just give us a frickin' 20-minute featurette. It can't be that hard to just pull some of the actors out of retirement for 10 minutes, you know? I don't know. It's annoying. So anyway, to sum up, Hardware, great post-apocalyptic, low-budget sci-fi horror fest. The Mist, great adaptation of Stephen King's short story. I love the audio version, love the movie, still have to check out the black and white version. People seem to be kind of split on the ending. I didn't mind it, but I know a lot of people hated it. Pandorum, refreshingly original sci-fi horror with very little CG, and especially notable in the creature effects. Moon, brilliant, low-budget, independent sci-fi movie, small-scale, character-driven, beautiful. Check it out, you'll not be disappointed. Sherlock Holmes, haven't watched it yet. Clash of the Titans, pure awesome. And that's it for the Blu-ray updates. So, next time, actually, I got some PS3 game updates for you. Yeah, I got a few new PS3 games. Well, they're new to me anyway. They may not be new to a lot of you, but they're new to me, and I'm having fun with them. So, we'll talk about those next time. Until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara.